Hello, hello. You're listening to the Goggler Podcast. Ian Bahir and Uma with you. By the time you listen to this podcast, the first episode of Marvel's Loki would have dropped on Disney Plus Hotstar.
Hi.
Loki is a continuation of what happened in the middle of Avengers Endgame when, after a little dust up with the Hulk, Tony Stark loses the Tesseract. Loki picks it up and kind of disappears in a flash of blue. This series explains where he goes and what happens next. Owen Wilson shows up as Mobius, and he is an agent who decides to kind of pull Loki under his wardship and use him in stopping some time crimes that seem to be happening. I mean, that's all we'll tell you because anything more is a little bit spoilery. But this show feels like sci-fi, time travel, rompiness.
And I think that first episode where they sort of laid out the Loki story by Mobius, I think was beautiful. It sort of, again, sits you down and reminds you that this isn't the Loki that we've last seen in Avengers Infinity War. This is a much earlier iteration.
But there is a beautiful tension to the heart of the show in that Loki still thinks he can pull the wool over the eyes of people who know everything about him. Loki still thinks he can pull one over on this guy and get away with stuff, and he can't. I think it's even in the second episode where it's like he runs a play on them and it's like, we knew you were going to do that, but he's like, well, when you're the God of Mischief and people know you're the God of Mischief, sometimes you have to try and do the mischief just to keep them on their toes, kind of thing.
What you're saying is right, Ian, in that you're not entirely confident as to where Loki is falling throughout the first two episodes, right?
Yeah.
Has he switched sides, or is he still on his own side trying to do his own play?
There's also a very interesting approach to this series that I quite enjoy, which is very different from Falcon and also WandaVision, in that there's a lot of stuff with just the two of them talking, like Mobius and Loki. And I think this show shows a lot of confidence in going, actually, we can just have these people talking in a room for the bulk of the first episode, and it'll be totally fine. We're not going to lose the audience.
I mean, even in the first two episodes that we've seen, there aren't that many action sequences. There's a lot of character sequences. Like, I love the bits when Loki and Mobius were going through files, and that's what I mean. That feels very sort of, there's a procedure that they're going through. There's an actual investigation that they're going through, as opposed to cutting in and then cutting out, saying, oh, we found the solution, so that they can get to an action sequence.
Absolutely not.
Check out Loki. Let us know what you think of the first episode. And yeah, this is something we know you'd want to talk about. So reach out and we're there for you. You can get in touch on all of our social media feeds, Goggler MY. Don't forget to rate this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps us out. Tell your friends, tell your family. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Goggler Podcast.